to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook. Let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John.
Hi, y'all are. Cajun Rob hanging out with you.
Great night so far. Just want to let you know we're very honored to have this guest on tonight. He's pretty much carrying on a legacy with the Ladies Bass Anglers Association, making some changes, doing some things, and all for the good from what I'm understanding from the ladies that we've had on. And all right. Would you like to bring them on now?
Yeah, let's kind of see where I know they've had some, seem like every tournament they have, they're having like the live feeds and all. So, boy, I mean, it's just growing and getting bigger and bigger. So, yeah, let's have them on and kind of see where they at.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's bring on Travis Burch, one of the owners of the Ladies Bass Anglers Association.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, how's it going, Travis?
Going good.
All right.
So, is this your first year or a second or third year with the LBAA? I can't remember.
It's our first season. We went to the Classic last year to make sure that we wanted to take over the ownership and take over the operation and meet all the ladies. And as soon as I walked in the room, I knew it was meant to be. So
cool. Awesome. Yeah, you guys are having your ladies are having a good year. Got a tight race in both Angler of the Year races. Yeah,
it's going to shape up quite interesting at Lake Guntersville. I was just doing the registration numbers today, which, speaking of which, if you still want in, you can still get in, especially if you're a co-angler, we can get you in. We're 5 co-anglers short, potentially 4, because there's a lady supposed to be jumping on while we're on this podcast and registering. So probably 4 co-anglers short going into Guntersville, but we're up to 23 boaters for Guntersville, which wow. We took over. When we took over, we had, I think 15, if I remember right, at Toledo. I think we had 17 at Bull Shoals, and I think we ended up with 17 or 18 at Table Rock. So it's nice to see it trending in the right direction because, you know, when it first launched, there was a lot of ladies fishing this thing. So I'm glad to, not that the ship was heading the wrong direction, but we're getting it turned around and getting more eyes on it and, you know, increasing the live stream and the viewership kind of, I mean, I know me and John talked about it offline and about, you know, what's a user experience. And we added the live leaderboard to the live stream and stuff like that with the new Fishing Chaos app has really helped us turn this thing around a little bit, I think, from the viewership side of things, if you're just a fan of fishing and want to watch weigh-ins.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's been great. You know, the ladies are real good. You know, one of the things that we hear a lot about is how willing to help others out they are.
Yeah, so that's the kind of the shocking side of things because they're still super cutthroat and still super competitive. So don't let the kind of the hoorah and stuff like that fool you. They are very competitive still, but they will. I mean, there's ladies throwing a shaky head in a tournament that have never thrown a shaky head because their boater told them to, or a co-angler the day before said she was catching them on it, or whatever the reason. But they share enough information to keep it friendly, but then they also want to beat each other. So it's kind of a different vibe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So you have a tournament coming up here in a couple weeks. Lake Guntersville.
Yep. Good old iconic Lake Guntersville.
Yes. One of my not so fun lakes to go to, but I'm not going to beat the dead horse on that one. It looks to be like it's a great time of year to go to Guntersville. A lot of big fish to be caught.
Yeah, the one interesting thing is right after us is the Alabama Bass Trail, their final season-ending event. So there's probably going to be a lot of boats out there pre-fishing. So that part kind of sucks because when we were making the schedule last October, I guess it was, that whole weekend was free. So that's why we picked that Thursday, Friday. And then, I mean, they're the biggest trail in the state from what I understand. So they're going to find an open weekend. They're going to go for it. So hopefully they're nice and let the ladies have some water out there and don't interfere too much with our tournament, as hope our ladies don't interfere with their practice. So
absolutely. Which ramp you going to go out of? Goose Pond or?
Goose Pond Colony or whatever they call it there.
Yep. Yeah, great ramp. That little store and restaurant, good folks there. I've fished there a couple times.
Awesome. Yeah, that's right where we're launching. So
yep.
Nice.
It's gonna be a hot one. It's gonna be a hot one. I'm sure. Third weekend of June. It's June 20th and 21st, I believe, is our dates.
Yep.
Thursday, Friday. So it'll be a hot week, but I know the ladies know to bring their ice and keep an eye on their fish, and we'll have the scales open an hour early just in case, and all the normal fun stuff.
Okay, yeah. Good deal.
Nice. What the championship? Is that something you qualify for?
Yeah, you have to qualify for it. Speaking of that, we added a new qualification rule this year to try to promote the youth side of things, like the younger anglers. So 2 high school or younger anglers will automatically get a berth to the Classic if they fished with us and they led the points in their age range. So right now we've only had 2 high school or younger anglers, which is Carly Jo Previtt and Chloe Barnum. So assuming no other high school angler or younger tries to jump in there, then that will automatically qualify them if they're the only 2 that end up fishing. On the flip side of that, we added the 2 college angler age group that would automatically get a boater berth into the Classic if they led the points in their age range. And as long as they're enrolled in college classes, we have yet to have a college boater enroll. So if you're hearing this and you're a female angler and you're taking college classes and you want a free shot to fish the LBAA Classic, you better come fish Guntersville, because it's going to come down to points. And if there's 3 college anglers that end up joining that tournament, you just got to get top 2 and you'll be punching your ticket to the Classic. So way easier path than I would have ever thought would have happened. We just didn't get the college age angler in there this year. And maybe that's because we were too much in the central part of the United States and not very much on the southeast and stuff like that. But if you're hearing this for the first time and you're a college age angler and you want to come fish Guntersville, you're basically paying for 1 entry to get 2 entries. So it would be a very smart financial decision on their part.
Absolutely.
That's true. Now, of your 2 high school anglers, are they both co-anglers, or one's fishing the pro side?
One fished as the pro side. That high school berth is good for a co-angler berth. So she was old enough to fish the pro side, but she hasn't fished any other tournaments. So those points would count towards the co-angler leaderboard.
Okay.
Because you can sub out 1, according to our rules. You can sub out 1 boater or 1 co for the other leaderboard.
Oh, nice. Pam Horn says the man.
Coming from the legend.
Yes, definitely.
Let the dust settle underneath him. He's got a lot of irons in the fire, and he's also helping out with the high school anglers as well. And, we just had our high school state championship and junior state championship this past weekend on what used to be one of the most iconic fisheries in the state of Kansas, and just kind of went through like a 20-year drought. And it finally came up 2 years ago, and people started going back there, and it was taking 25 to 30 pounds a day to win. And so we saw that, and we were like, we got to get the youth out there as soon as we can. And of course, now it's 20 feet low again, but they still weighed, it was 19 pounds on day 1 to lead day 1. It was huge.
Wow.
So day two ended up being a 5-hour flight, because we had a 3-hour lightning delay. So we weren't going to launch them in the crazy lightning, and the storm just sat over the lake, even though it was supposed to blow over quick.
No.
Safety first,
Absolutely.
Especially with
good call. Yeah, good call.
Yes. I'm looking at the standings, and Carly Jo, she's leading the rookie co-angler race as well.
She is. She has, well, let me see here. She has 660 points for her best 3. She's showing up to Guntersville. Speaking of which, the legend Pam Martin Wells couldn't make Table Rock, and instead of asking for a refund, she wanted to make sure Carly Jo made it to Guntersville, and she paid her entry forward to Carly Jo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Pam is a class act to begin with in the sport, and then for her to do that, and she's just, mesmerized probably by Carly Jo's, personality and grit to go out there and try to compete against the ladies. And And yeah, she's leading rookie of the year with 660 points right now. And Kathy Schatz is at 501, which is the closest rookie to her. So as long as Carly doesn't zero, I think she'll pretty much have that in the bag.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Now, how does that work? Because Carly's she'll the way it's looking is she'll double qualify for the Classic. Now,
Yep.
do you drop down another spot or?
Yeah, we would drop down another spot to balance the field. So
Okay.
So
Cool.
she'll qualify naturally, obviously by points, but she'll also qualify in the high school spot. So we'll get an additional, non-high school spot in.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's good.
Yep. The goal is to have the exact number of Classic participants every single year. So
Nice.
Absolutely.
It'd be a shame if you had to expand that due to the fact you had twice as many anglers, but
right. Oh, I would love to see that. That's something we're trying to work hard on behind the scenes, is get the right funding and the right sponsorships in here. I mean, we got some really good sponsors in here, like Pam Ridgel and Gary Yamamoto with his Wagyu Beef Company and the BK Ranch, and Clutch Swim Bait Company and Wholesale Batteries are kind of the big sponsors for us. And then my company, obviously, K-Guard, is the one that helps fund this, because it's not a profitable venture, running around the country and all that fun stuff. Someday it might be, who knows? That's not why I got into it. I got into it because I have a passion for kids and female anglers, and obviously trying to make the sport a little better. On the World Fishing Tour side, we're trying to pay out more than 100% at all of our tournaments, instead of, taking 30-40% that a lot of the organizations do nationwide. So we're trying to fix the sport one step at a time, I guess.
yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Carly
Good step.
Yes. Carly Joe's ears have been ringing, so she jumped on.
just talking about her ears are ringing, huh?
Yeah.
She better run with that fish in the mouth deal, man. She's got a chance to. We were talking about it. We need to get Scope or one of the Listerine companies, right?
There you go.
There you go.
I told her, I said, I'm going to start carrying a bottle of mouthwash, and we're going to switch brands until one of them reaches out. And as soon as you do it, I'm going to hand that little airplane bottle, and we're going to get her a sponsorship.
Yeah. Well, you could work with toothpaste and lip gloss, and you can go anywhere with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we were just talking about, nobody's really thought about, does the fish, slime coat or anything like that have any, risk to put in your mouth, which it probably does. And so we were just kind of brainstorming. I was like, this would be a good sponsorship opportunity for Carly Joe, because I mean, that girl's a champ, and she can have 5 fish, 2 in each hand, 1 in her mouth. It's insane to watch.
Yeah, and I think one of the best parts about that is she got Pam Horn involved.
Yeah, she calls her Aunt Pam now, but
yeah,
she's got Aunt Pam doing it.
Aunt Pam, you need to find something else. Let the young no. Pam's a good friend, good friend of the show as well. But
yeah, she's doing a lot trying to help grow the sport for sure. She's
done a couple not podcasts, but articles for you guys.
Yep. Yeah, and I've got a couple more to post. She kind of keeps me with some in the back burner, and I go in and try to add some backlinks and a few pictures, because she'll write, and then I'll do, kind of clean it up a little bit for the photos and stuff. And she's been a very good asset for the LBAA and trying to grow it. And she's constantly tagging people and trying to recruit them on Facebook and social media. She's posting her videos. I mean, Carly Joe's now posting good content, and she's got Cindy Adler Jackson's husband editing her videos, which is awesome. Cindy Adler's posting really good content. Cheryl Bowden's posting content now. The list goes on. I'm forgetting people. I know I am, but they actually see where this could go. And one thing I've noticed is I ran, like say Table Rock for 2 days, right? And then we had the World Fishing Tour, the final 7 or the next 7 days right after that. It almost knocks the wind out of your sails, because the girls are so promoting their sponsorship, talking about who they fished with, their boat rides, all the stuff that you would expect us guys to talk about every time we're on stage. And And then we go to the guys' side, and they're like, no pictures. Very few of them want pictures. Very few of them want to grab a mic and talk. And I'm like, this is completely different. Which I always knew it was different because I went from the youth to the World Fishing Tour side all the time. And the kids wanted to, take pictures and stuff and talk more than us guys. As once we get older, we're just like, some of us might not even be supposed to be there. Our wives might not know we're even fishing a tournament. Whatever it is. I've heard it all. Trust me. Like, don't post my name anywhere unless I cash a check. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. And honestly, I think my bump board guy / business partner, Steve French is he's even said it. He's like, man, I'd rather just work the ladies events almost anymore. They're just so much more fun.
Yeah.
So
wow,
I'm sure Craig from Bull Shoals would agree too. He's our other business partner in the deal. So he's been to both, and it's just a different vibe.
Oh,
nice.
Interesting.
I've been talking to Elvin with the American Angler Outdoor Network, and trying to get him to do a documentary on the LBAA.
That would be awesome.
So
I love how much Bassmasters jumped on board too, and actually trying to promote the sport. Like just in the last, I took like a week and a half, 2 weeks off from really worrying about anything LBAA related because I had the Big Slick Celebrity Fundraiser here in Kansas City for Children's Mercy to help with, and we had the state championship and all that fun stuff. And so I log on the other night and I'm like, there's 6 freaking articles that I've missed. I haven't shared from Bassmaster. So I shared 4 of them immediately, the ones that were LBA anglers or had ties to college programs and stuff. And there's a couple more that I need to get on there and share too, but I didn't want to blast them all in one night.
Yeah. I'm highly impressed, You and I spoke early on about doing an all women's podcast and for Mondays, and that's our most popular day.
Yep. It's different. I mean, it brings in more eyes. You got women support women more than I think guys support guys. And then you got the husband supporting their spouses, and then you got the spouses supporting their spouses, no matter which side of the fence you're on there, sexuality wise, and it seems like it's better supportive, and there's more eyes on it when you could have a 30 angler base, and it seems like it's getting way more views. I mean, just our Facebook page at Table Rock had like I think 147,000 views, and yeah, I mean it's. When I was looking at the numbers when we took over, I was like, there was like 8,000 followers on the page, and they were only averaging like 15 to 20,000 views on stuff. And I was like, something's not right here.
Yes.
And then, and now it's just kind of exploding. So, and it's sorry about my dog in the background. I killed her up so she wouldn't be so yippy. And she hears me out here talking German short hairs. She's very vocal.
That's fine.
But talking about the ladies, I know John's kind of noticed it. They're so thankful to have they appreciate us having them on, and they bring the energy. I mean, it's a different vibe, and they're amazing. I mean, they're all thankful, grateful being on the show and sharing their experiences and stuff. It's been great.
Yeah, and none of us are the biggest channels, right? LBA is not the biggest following, and you guys don't have the biggest following, but we're giving them a platform and trying to make it better. And that's the whole thing for me is I want to be able to showcase their talent, because I can promise you they can weigh more limits than I can most days.
Oh yeah, so, absolutely. Same here.
Yeah. One of the things that
here.
That's okay. One of the things that I enjoy about it is how they can go from being best friends to competitive to being best friends.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
we're on the guy's side. It's not always like that.
No.
Yeah, it's literally friends, cutthroat competition, and tournaments over. They're hugging each other. So it's a pretty cool experience.
It is. Yeah, and Rob may get to experience that firsthand. He may be going to Gunnersville to talk to some people.
Hopefully I make it down. Hopefully travel schedule works out. So I'm gonna try to.
That would be amazing if you get to come down. Let me, stay in contact and let me know, and we'll
definitely
figure out a way to get out on the water or do something for you guys.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how's the other circuit, the women's or the
World Fishing Tour?
Yes.
It's going well. Table Rock, we kind of had a bad scheduling, which was my fault. I deal with the resorts and the local chamber of commerce, and the date they gave me to come was graduation week. We had Falcon Rod Grand Lake Challenge, which is a free tournament. Well, it's not free. It was $100 entry fee, but you got a $95 value rod. So it's basically a free entry, right?
Right.
And I don't have those numbers backwards, but they had 300-400 boats. And then on the next lake to us, Bull Shoals had their OMTT, which was like their final deal for points. So trying to compete against 500 boats that were going to get pulled somewhere else was very hard. And we went down about 50% at that tournament, which that part kind of stank. But I think that was 100% scheduling. And it's hard to make a schedule around, 20 different organizations and then some free rolls that pop in and out. I mean, I remember last year we had an event where they had like a Cops and Kids fundraiser or something, or somewhere they were giving away a boat, and it was for like a charity event. And of course, that's going to pull 200-300 boats when it's for charity and there's a boat involved. So we had that same problem last year. I think we were at Truman or somewhere else, but I can't remember which lake we were on. But there was a huge scheduling conflict that's going to pull boats when there's it's either a free tournament or for charity, and there's a bass boat being given away or whatever.
Yeah, that's tough to compete. That's tough to compete with.
Yeah, that'd be like scheduling against a Big Bass Bash or Big Bass Splash. Yeah. Anything. I mean, when I make my schedules at the beginning of the year, I put everything on a spreadsheet that I can find, and then give resorts dates around that. And I think in the future I'll stay away from graduation week period. Post spawn fish are tired at least in the Ozark region. I mean, the post spawn fish are really tired. It's really hard on the fishery, and then also scheduling conflicts. So.
Pam says it'll be great to meet you in person, Rob.
Hey, outstanding, Pam. I hope I can make it down. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Right. If you make it down, maybe we'll have to jump on and do a live podcast.
Hey, there you go. There you go. We can do it.
We talked about that. Maybe do some interviews with some of the anglers and.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be a fun experience.
Yeah, I know. Alvin's with the American Angler Outdoor. He's all in on the women's shows. He's loving our Monday shows because they get a lot of views for him as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to hear women talk about fishing? It's not the everyday negativity. Forward facing this, forward facing that. So and so's cheating. So and so's doing this and that.
Yeah.
It's talking about getting better in the sport and how to grow the sport, and there's just not much negativity around it, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And it's fun to hear the women talk about
it. I'll try it. Hey, it might bring me some extra luck. If I catch them like you, I'll do it. If I catch them like you, I'll do it.
It's just like one of John's wife's cookies. You just put it in there and you enjoy it. Just hold it still.
All right.
I'm not 100% positive sold on that one. But Brock says, how's the nationwide fishing tournament finder page going? Still in the works?
It is still in the works. So I actually posted what's on the website now on the World Fishing Tour. It was just a test. I took like 4 or 5 states worth of information that was out there in November, December, and January, and put it on the website to see if there's multiple reasons why I did it this way. One of the reasons was to see if Google and Microsoft Bing and Yahoo search engines and all that stuff would recognize that as a SEO tool, for SEO, right?
Yep.
Because SEO matters, traffic matters. And just last month I got the reports, and it went up like 1,600 organic views, because that stuff takes 60 to 90 days to really gain traffic. Anybody that understands SEO knows that. And so that being said, during that 90 days, that we were waiting for the results to actually start getting the traffic and Google to start serving the website, was I had some, I don't even know what you call them, engineers or whatever, reach out and get some quotes. And the most affordable quote I got was like $18,000. And basically what it will be is it will be like an AI robot that crawls the internet looking for new tournaments nationwide. So from Bass Opens to MLF, BFLs, all that fun stuff, to LBAA, to World Fishing Tour, AIA, big blast bashes and splashes. Basically every tournament you could possibly find, catfish, crappie masters, all that fun stuff. It will scroll the website's basically daily. Once it knows there's new stuff being posted, and it will automatically update our post. Problem is just the upfront cost is $18,000. That's not the maintaining fees. So I appreciate you saying it's a brilliant idea, and I'm hoping to get it all done by the end of the year with the with all the software engineers and stuff. So it's way over my head. But what I posted on there was all done by me, and obviously you can tell it was done by me.
Well, for what you have going on, just you posting anything is amazing.
Yeah. I just get tired because, like, if I travel a lot, obviously, because we're doing fishing tournaments. And like when we were at Table Rock, I was like, man, I want to go find a nightly jackpot to fish while I'm here. I mean, I can't compete in a 200 boat AIA because I'm never at ever at Table Rock, but I might be able to go throw down $30 to $50 and donate to the prize pool and learn something at Table Rock in the evening. So there's just nowhere to find out all that information. And Missouri honestly has one of the best websites to find information out like that, because their state permit process puts it all in one spot. But then you have to sort it lake by lake, and it's still could be cleaned up a lot. But I want something like that nationwide. So that's the whole point. And, whether or not I keep it on the World Fishing Tour website or not is probably a double-edged sword there. I probably shouldn't keep it on there just because of, competitors don't really probably want their information on your website. But I want to grow the sport. I don't want it to go the other way around. I don't care if they fish my stuff or somebody else's stuff. I want to grow the sport and want to grow the integrity side of the sport too. So we also wand all of our fish for lead. I mean, we wouldn't think that'd be an issue, but our very first tournament, we had it happen at Table Rock. 2 weeks later, it happened at the walleye deal. I mean, that went viral. Maybe I should have posted about it. Maybe we could have went viral, but I was like, I didn't think fishing really needed a black eye. I did make a Facebook post about it when 6 fish got weighed in another tournament's trail, which almost did get me blacklisted from some stuff where I can't even advertise my trail because I mentioned it. But that is what it is. It wasn't trying to hurt the sport. It was trying to say, tournament directors, we all need to work together on how to promote the sport, how to make it bigger, how to make it better. There's things we did. I came from a poker background, and there's things we did at one casino that was better than other casinos. And we all worked together once a year. We met in Vegas for 3 days, and we called it the Tournament Directors Association Summit. And first day we'd talk about, how people cheated us, how structures were complained about in the tournament world, and how payout and rakes were, and what the negative feedback, what the positive feedback was. And then day 2, we'd all kind of brainstorm on ways to fix it. And then day 3, we had our rules that we all followed. And that's probably one thing in fishing that kind of drives me nuts is we all have different rules. And it'd be nice if we had, you can use a net or you're not use a net, whatever votes on nationwide, and just kind of boom, 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 set straight of rules. Would be amazing, because then there wouldn't be all this, oh, well, I didn't read the rules. I thought you did it like bass, or I thought you did it like TBF, or I thought you did it like the splash or bash.
Yeah.
So
it seemed like you have to read every circuit's list of rules.
Yeah.
Because like our federation, they follow BASS rules because they are BASS affiliated. Well, then they added this year in that you have to, if you have a fish that looks like it can be fizzed and saved, that can be considered a dead fish.
We've actually been talking about that. I think that needs to be a universal rule nationwide. I'm a big on conservation. We just built the live release trailer and everything like it. I cannot stand, and it happens more in my adult male tournaments than it does anywhere else. No offense to us guys. But I think a lot of us just throw our fish in the box and we never look back until we throw the next fish in the box. Where on the youth and high school side, there's a boat captain that I think is constantly listening for that fish behind them. And if they don't feel that, or if they don't think they hear that occasional splash around or whatever, they check in on them. Yeah. And then the ladies, I think we've had 2 fish, if I remember right, given to us dead at the weigh-in. They were, deep hooked fish. If they catch them with a tube in their throat, if you hook set late, it's going to happen. Yep. But I remember last year at Table Rock, not this year at Table Rock, we had to fish probably 90% of the fish that got turned into us. which, I mean, you guys fish for smallmouth deep, especially up there in New York. I mean, seeing a 5-pound smallie or 4-pound smallie, need to be fizzed. It's probably been in the live well for 6 or 7 hours. It's just, to me, unacceptable. But
yeah, it's amazing how many of the professional fishermen don't take advantage of the educational tools that are out there for them for that when they come up here.
Yep. I mean, like Pam just said, it only takes 2 minutes and it's super easy. Very easy. We were releasing fish at Table Rock after we even fizzed them just this last time. It's no offense to Table Rock. I just happen to, it's fresh on my mind.
That's fine.
We had 2 really big fish that got weighed in, and her brother, we released it, it swam away, and it immediately floated back up, belly up. Her brother was able to grab it with a net, fizz it, and he swam off.
Cool.
Yeah, the other one, was too far gone.
Yeah, I think the elites have made it mandatory when they come up here to at least have a class.
Yeah, I believe it's Barb Elliott teaches that class every year for the elites when they go up there. And I mean,
yes,
she's made fizzing so easy with her little kit plus her little tutorial cards. And I mean, if you watch her videos, I mean, and you don't know how to fizz fish after watching one of her videos, you probably shouldn't be fishing.
That's true.
It's pretty. I mean, it's super simple, especially the way she teaches it going into the side. I mean, it's the easy way. That's the way I learned, and I know the way through the back of the whatever you call it, the chompers. But that's more risky. So if you don't
absolutely
more organs ahead.
Yep. Yeah. More organs ahead, and if you don't know what you're doing and exactly where to poke, you're going to cause more problems. So it's better just to do it the Barb Elliott sideways, which is how I was taught anyway. So
yeah,
absolutely.
She reaches out to other organizations that come up here because, granted with the gobies, it doesn't take the smallmouth as long to get to 5 pounds as it used to, but it still takes them a while.
Right.
And
there's still I mean, I don't care if it takes them 4 or 5 years or if it takes them 2 years. They're a beautiful specimen of fish, and
absolutely.
It's just I hate to see any fish die, and I really hate to see a 3-pound, 4-pound plus smallmouth die. It's just something about the smallmouth to me.
A couple years ago, I was fishing a Toyota series up here, and I had 4 dead fish in the live well, and I don't know how, because I fished every one of them. I checked them all the time. Just sometimes just making a long run, it happens.
Yep.
And
some things, I mean, you got to control the controllables, and some things you can't control. Like, I mean, I've not lost very many fish in my life fishing tournaments. And just recently I lost 3 out of 4 fish, and it was because the live well pump went out on a run.
Yeah.
I looked back in there when we stopped, they had water, topped them off, all that fun stuff, but the recirc went out, and it was 85, 90 degrees that day, and they died. And I mean, it wasn't 20 to 30 minutes. And I went back to make another move and checked them right before we moved, and I go, uh-oh. So we switched the fish over to the other live well, and the 3 were gone. And it's probably the first time that's happened in 10 years.
Yeah. Carly Jo, or Pam's telling Carly Jo to look up Barb Elliott. Awesome videos, very helpful. And she breaks it down.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nice and easy. So I know she goes to the Bassmaster Classic and a couple other shows and talks fizzing and stuff like that. But
yeah, she's got good content out there, and her little kit's awesome. Every angler should have it. Even co-anglers, in my opinion, should have a fizzing kit, because you shouldn't rely on your boater to save your fish.
I have a couple sets that I don't know how I still have a couple sets, because when I was fishing the Toyota series, I think every tournament I was giving at least one away.
Yep.
I buy them in bulk now. I buy the stuff to make them in bulk at the Tractor Supply store, because you can't buy them from anywhere else because they think you're going to do drugs with them. But you can go to a Tractor Supply store and get horse and cow syringes, and then get the adapters to them to where you can actually fizz. And we carry a whole toolbox in our weigh-in trailer at all times. So if I don't have at least 6 on me, there's something wrong.
Yeah. And Linda Gessner says, if the ladies haven't ever fizzed, ask some of the ladies around the program. They'll gladly show you.
Yep. Especially somebody like Gessner or Heartline, any of those ladies that have been around. I mean, they don't lose fish, trust me. Not on purpose anyways.
Right. I mean, the occasion, every once in a while it happens. Nothing you can do about it. Something seems like, but
for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and Linda's leading your angler of the year on the boater side too, isn't she?
Yeah, she wasn't going to come fish Gunnersville, but I think she saw, I don't know if this is for sure why she jumped in, or it could have just been because she had a decent finish at Table Rock and now there's a little bit more money on the table. But I know she's got it pretty much in the bag, but there's a little sneaky one that doesn't show up on the top of the leaderboard. So obviously Cheryl and Robbie have a chance.
Yep.
I believe Ann Carmichael still even has a chance. But there's one that had only fished 2 tournaments, last year's Angler of the Year, Terry Cindric, and she's got a 295-point finish and a 290-point finish. So she's actually got a really good shot at being able to give Linda a run for her money. But yeah, Linda's right there. Her fate is in her hand.
yeah, we had Linda on earlier in the year, and she was talking about not going to Gunnersville. Well, I think she got backed into the corner with this one.
Yeah, between the points possibilities and then having a really good finish. I know we talked about how far away it is from Missouri and Arkansas because she's down on the Arkansas side, but originally from Missouri. Gunnersville's not right down the street. It's not one of the home lakes. And same thing with the other ladies that travel or with her, Leslie Anderson and Robbie Hartline and all them. And it's and then she just put up a picture of a frog. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say it matches her favorite technique so well. So it's made for her. So yeah, I'm glad she's making it.
Me too. I was glad she had a good enough finish that it made sense financially and, vice versa. And we're going to have a really good turnout. So, we're at 23 boats as of 4:00 today and 18 co's. And I really feel like we might get a couple more boaters in here. So it's actually going to be a decent payday, which has been lacking for the last few years. So it's one thing. I'm very blessed that, Gessner and Hartline and all those ladies that could have retired when the the ownership kind of changed hands I should say the torch was passed because there really wasn't any purchase or anything like that. Don't want anybody to think that we, bought something to turn it into a we literally just took it over to try to keep it going. And without those 4 or 5 ladies that were considering retiring, would we even have had 10 boats at 1 or 2 of our tournaments this year? Maybe not. So same thing with, Cindric and Broom and all them coming over from the East Coast. Those tournaments were not convenient to a couple of those ladies, Judy Skavinsky in Florida on the co-angler side. Some of them are driving and flying 15, 16 hours just to get to a tournament and haven't missed one. So wow, very, very, very fortunate that they gave us a shot because an all ladies ran an organization. And then here comes this half gray haired bearded guy walking in, like what's his, what's my motive with this? And honestly, it's just somewhere for my wife and my daughter and, anybody else in that same bracket. Abby, that's our videographer right now that you've had on the show.
Yep.
She came up through our youth program and, she's not really fishing other than team events with her dad. And it's like, women need a place that they would feel comfortable if they don't want to go compete against the guys. Do women need their own platform? Probably not because they're all good enough. But we all know we are all different. So, and we all want to have our own platforms. That's why youth events are there. That's why high school events are there. Yes. That's, we grow into a certain thing. So, and then some of them don't ever want to give an all ladies event a try because they don't think there's a place for it. So, and for those ladies that are like that, good luck to them. And we hope they succeed because they're growing the sport just as well as we are. So,
absolutely.
Heather says she's here to keep you on your toes, Travis.
Yeah, Heather, I might have you a coffee sponsor. Speaking of which, we'll talk about it offline. But I had a nice little charity fundraiser deal this past week, and one of the WWE wrestlers opened up a coffee place, and he was like, "I want to sponsor smaller people." So we will talk about that offline.
Oh, cool!
Nice.
So she's always running down the lake with her coffee. So
Abby needs to fill in as a co.
I almost tried to push her that way at Table Rock and at Bull Shoals. I at least got her in the boat at Bull Shoals to do some videographer work with Chloe that one day. And so I think that really helped. Abby could definitely compete. She won a lot of youth tournaments for us, and her dad win a lot of tournaments. And I promise you, it's not all her dad. no different than Chloe. It's not all Wyatt and her dad either. So I mean, I think Chloe proved that at Bull Shoals when she went out and got, I think, 3rd place. So
yeah. Chloe's on. Chloe, her and I've been talking a little bit off and on. And, we're trying to get her on as well.
Yep.
Pam said, "I love coffee." Well, maybe we can get this guy to sponsor a couple ladies here.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
I ordered his coffee. It's supposed to be here. God, what is today? Today's Thursday. It's supposed to be here on Monday. So he handpicks all his own beans, flies all over the world, picking them out from Nicaragua to all kinds of different places. So I was impressed with his knowledge for a WWE wrestler. It's Baron Corbin, by the way. I might as well. Just Baron Corbin from WWE, and he was like, I have a passion for coffee, and I like to hand select beans, and he hand packs everything. He said, except for when he's on tour. Which he said you would think would be all the time, but it's not all the time. So we were talking about sponsorships and, who he's looking for and what he's looking for. And he said, honestly, I'm looking for the people that have less than like 2,500 followers because their followers are legit.
Yeah.
And not just a bunch of people just following somebody for clout.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think most of the people that we have on our program would qualify.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all qualify, right?
Grassroots for grassroots, yeah.
Very few of us that have been blessed enough to go viral, and it's not any of us right here, right?
Nope.
That is true. I was listening to a podcast today, and they said it's easier nowadays to go viral than it has been in the past.
Absolutely.
I've had a few videos for my tackle company go viral, and they're the dumbest videos. I mean, I have this centrifugal machine. It's literally like a pottery wheel, and it just does a circle, and it makes 20 Kitex at a time. That thing got 1.2 million views.
Dang.
I went to bed, and I was like, hey, this thing has a chance to go viral. It's got like 20,000 views. I woke up, and it had like 800,000. I was like, what the heck happened?
Shared. It got shared around.
Yeah, it was just, and everybody was like, what is this? What is that? Because they see me pouring what looks like milk into a thing, and then all of a sudden, here comes baits. And I'm like, man, I've made so many videos on injecting baits and hand pouring baits and, different salts and different colors. And for some reason, just plain old white looks like milk poured into a deal and demold some Kitex. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to go viral.
I tried to get my buddy to get one of those centrifugal machines, and he's like, well, it's a little bit out of my price range.
I can tell you it's a waste of money. I will tell you why. So you can only pour single color, no salt, no glitter type baits. You can do dual color. You just can't put any additives in it that have any kind of difference in weight, volume, or viscosity thicknesses. And that's because centrifugal, where's the heavy stuff going to go?
Yeah,
straight to the bottom.
Yep. So if you put glitter in it, you're going to have an all glitter tail. And think about how thin the joint is on a Kitec right before it hits the paddle after that last rib or two. I mean, that's like construction paper thickness almost, right? Add a little bit extra salt. Put too much salt in that rib or too much salt in that glitter, and you think Kitecs break fast now, you'd be able to hold it upside down and it'd probably fall apart.
So that explains how Senkos are made.
So, don't want to say really anything bad about, Senkos just because Yamo's a sponsor of ours. And he no longer owns the company, but
there's nothing really bad.
That salt catches them because that salt is what causes that weight to fall. So I do all my tackle. I do custom order stuff. So I always ask them, do you want a Yamo fall rate? Do you want a Yum fall rate? Or do you want somewhere in between? And then I have some guys that don't want salt in them at all. And they'd rather do their, Buckeye cross-eyed jig, wacky rig with the 1/15th or, 1/32 or whatever they sell. I forget. With that single wire, they'd rather control their own weight and be able to change it. And then the worm actually lasts like it should.
Absolutely.
But I mean, Yamos catch fish. I mean, there's a few baits that you can't argue with. And a bait that was made after a big pin. Gary Yamamoto is a genius.
Yeah. That's an amazing story how he come up with that.
Yep. I still can't believe that's where it was molded from, a big pin, and then he went back and cleaned it up to make it look kind of like a worm after he realized it caught fish and needed to produce it.
I I tell people, I'm like, look, forward-facing sonar doesn't need to get banned. Ban the Senko. Definitely separate the men from the boys there.
Yep.
Senko, and now it's going to be glide baits and those little hover rigs.
Oh,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. But talking about growing the sport, I fish BFLs, and I'm seeing more and more ladies and girls fishing co-angler, even boater side. So I'm seeing more ladies and girls on the BFL side, definitely.
Yeah, that's something we're trying to work on. I know there was some bad blood in the past with how Pam and I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. Pam was the second one. Why am I drawing a blank? Gosh, that's terrible for a podcast when you forget a name. Give me more.
Yep.
So they both were treated pretty bad at the Classic. So there was a little bit of. It wasn't because of bass, I don't think, per se. I haven't heard all of the stories, but the guys didn't really want ladies there, and I think that's changed, and I hope it's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pam just confirmed it, but
Yeah.
I was going there. But they didn't really. A lot of the anglers didn't want the girls there, and I think Pam Martin Wells proved that they belong there.
Oh yeah. She
had a heck of a finish. I think she was the first one or second one to a limit on day 3 or whatever it was. But I need to go back and watch that again. But Bass should have ran with that. And I know ESPN owned them and sold and all that fun stuff. And they had the Women's Pro Tour going. And I mean, they should have wrote, instead of doing Bassmaster now, they should have did it then, right?
Yeah.
Because they had the chance to really capitalize and really grow the sport. And now they're coming back. The new ownership, the Anderson Group and all that fun stuff is coming back, and it helps that you got Hank and all those guys from Bass in the office and that have grown the sport from the nation level, high school level, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, they should have ran with it when they had a chance. I mean, there was hundreds of ladies fishing Bass and Gals, and the WBT started. I mean, I've got a vanilla envelope full of names that I haven't got everybody to call me back on it yet, and I haven't got everybody to respond to me yet, and a lot of the numbers are no longer active, but trust me, I've tried looking up every single one of those ladies on Facebook, if they're still with us here on Earth, to figure out what it would take to get them back, or their grandkids back, or their nieces and nephews, or whoever it is, into the sport, because it's time, and they should have capitalized a long time ago. But you can't change the past, right? So let's just change the future.
Right. There you go.
So I know, since you have a lot of time sitting around doing nothing, and and the popularity of kayak fishing, is there any thoughts about having a kayak tour as well?
So here's my overall goal with the World Fishing Tour side of things, not just the ladies side of things. So I came from a poker background, and the World Series of Poker and World Poker Tour, and now there's a couple other trails out there called MSPT, which is Mid-States Poker Tour. There's now a new one called Moneymaker Poker Tour from Chris Moneymaker that helped the poker boom to begin with, which is why Bass should have blown up when Pam Martin Wells had her finish. They should have ran with that, and it would have been the same thing that the Moneymaker effect was in the poker world, which was a perfect name for that. But they do a week or 2 long tournaments. They're not all the same tournament. So like they'll have a seniors tournament, they'll have a ladies tournament, they'll have a main event, which is like a high rollers tournament, then they'll have the average buy-in level, which is like $300, and then they'll have nightlies. So it ends up being, they're usually about 10 days long, and they end up being a series. So that's overall big picture. What I see is being able to have a non-live scope tournament, or maybe no electronics tournament to begin with, no live scope tournament, no electronics tournament, an all ladies tournament, a male female tournament, a seniors tournament, a kayak tournament, a high rollers tournament, a little bit of everything, because guys and girls don't want to compete against 225 boats all the time when they know they can't beat the 10 local hammers. So I think that's one reason that's made the Big Bass Bashes and the Big Bass Splash and all those so appealing for the average angler, is most of them have an earnings cap of $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 in the last year or two. And so it keeps a lot of the absolute hammers out of the fields. And everybody knows they can get lucky and catch that 6 or 7 pounder. And that's why they get those 12 to 1,500 boat tournaments, or 3,000 boat tournaments if you're talking about down in Toledo and Rayburn. So big picture, long voiced out reasoning there. Big picture is to have something for everybody over about a 10-day span. So, but first I had to introduce the we call it the satellite concept. So in the poker world, you would have a $1,000 buy-in tournament, and not nobody, 80% of the field would not be able to afford $1,000, but they could afford a $300 buy-in. So they would do what they call the satellite series. So I basically modeled the World Fishing Tour after that to start that. And the goal, my ultimate goal with that side of things, is to start paying $100,000 out for first place for the main event. So if we can get enough people into town for the smaller stuff, a seniors tour, a ladies tour, all that fun stuff, then eventually, and kayaks and all that stuff, then eventually we could have a big main event. So
absolutely.
That's kind of what my thought process is.
Good idea.
Travis, I appreciate you and what you're trying to do to grow the sport in women's fishing. Keep up the great work, and thank you.
No problem. Lori runs Two Chicks in a Boat. Her and Beth run Two Chicks in a Boat. That's one of our affiliated LBAA nation trails. And so it's the only one that I think operates off of a team, unless somebody changed their rules this year that I hadn't seen, but I'm pretty sure everybody else is doing pro-co. So if you're a lady and you want to fish in a team format where you know your partner, definitely check out Lori's Two Chicks in a Boat. Her and Beth are doing a great job growing that.
Absolutely.
I think 2, maybe year 3. So it's all a big process of working together. So the goal is to kind of bounce around the country and help grow each other's. I mean, they're part of us to begin with, but to help grow. Like this year, we put an event on Toledo, which kind of put us in the East Texas Lady Anglers area, which is Denise Estada. And then it also put us in the WBT area, which is the Louisiana and Texas. So we got down there, got some of those ladies to fish with us. Hopefully some of those will fish the quality or fish the classic with us because they earn their berth that way. Lori's group is Two Chicks in a Boat, which they have a cute little, like two chicks, like chickens in a boat, little logo. It's cool. And then we have obviously the Bass and Gals from St. Louis and Indiana with us too. So.
Yeah, that's sounds like that's a group that we should couple we should get on there. Rob is Two Chicks in a Boat.
Get Lori on. If you need her contact information and Lori's okay with it, just Lori comment on here and I'll give John your contact information.
Definitely.
Or Rob, whoever wants to reach out. But they're a good little organization. They go to Chick. They do Kentucky Lake almost every year, I think, or they plan on, being in that region, kind of that Kentucky Lake to Chickamauga and then north. So, because they're based out of Ohio.
Yep.
So they travel a little bit, but not too far, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Bass and Gals will be at Kentucky Lake this weekend.
Yep.
That's rumored to be a possibility of one of our stops next year if they ever finalize everything with us.
It's a pretty area over there.
It is, and the fishing is, I know the Asian carp, supposedly heard it for so long, and it was on a downhill slide for a while, and then I think it helps when Bass doesn't bring a 400 boat high school tournament to it 3 years or 10 years in a row. That also helps. But the Kentucky Lake has proven, the Game and Fish Committee and all the anglers there have proven that you can keep a lake good, put the work in, do the habitat work, do the grass work. Some of the things they've done, I don't know if you've seen the big cement reefs they're putting in.
Oh yeah,
those look like they're going to be a very big help. And then Secret knows a lot about what they've done on Kentucky Lake. Secret York, the one that's leading our co-angler side, she's having a heck of a year, which is pretty awesome to go to the back of the boat after being a boater for so long and be able to do that. And it's hard to fish from the back being a boater.
Yes. We're at the point of the show where we like to let you talk about sponsors and things like that. I know you're not footing the bill yourself for all this, and I know you got a lot of help, and you rely on other people.
Yeah, so our title sponsor is Gary Yamamoto, his Wagyu beef company, and then also he has the Inn at BK Ranch. So if you ever want to go hunt some trophy fishery bass in his private big lake there, you can stay right on site and do that, which is an awesome place. Baitworks was a huge help. So when we took over the LBAA, they had that big fifth wheel trailer, and it was a beautifully built trailer. I mean, it's got the fold down stage, gooseneck, all that fun stuff. Technically even has a bathroom in it. We still got to get that fixed, but it needed cleaned up. It needed a wrap. It had pieces of wrap over pieces of wrap, and so we stripped down everything that we could get off of it and had it wrapped. And Baitworks not only covered that expense, They've also thrown in $100 for every angler for Big Bag of the Week at all of our tours. They just hooked it up at our youth deal. I mean, every kid walked away with like $50 for this stuff. They really, really took care of the kids. And then they also give us a 15% discount. So if you're a lady and want 15% off, use code LBAA. So LBAA-15, all caps. And then if you're a guy or a lady, you can use the other code WFT15 just to kind of show. The reason why I want the ladies to use the ladies code is to show ladies are actually buying stuff in this industry, which they are.
Oh, yeah.
And then World Fishing Tours code is just WFT15. So that saves you 15% off. And there's a dash on that. Same thing with YOLO Tech. If you ever want to buy a GoPro, the YOLO Tech wand, all that fun stuff. If you use LBAA as your code, it knocks off, I think, 10%, if I remember right. And then we have Clutch Swim Bait Company, which has given a Clutch Eco to big bass at every single one of the tournaments we do for every angler. Which I'm sure if you follow Bassmaster Elite Series right now, it's hard to get your hands on a clutch. If it ain't an Eco, it's a Boss, it's a Darter. I mean, we're an OG. They're Trey McKinney's, constantly catch smashing. He's leading angler of the year. Trying to think who else. I'm drawing a blank. Wholesale Batteries was a huge help. They've sponsored my youth program, or our youth program here in Kansas for years. Helped out with a lot of the Missouri, Kansas area anglers for a long time. And I reached out when we were taking over ownership at LBAA, and they were like, absolutely. So they were able to help give us some money to help make this season possible. Because this season, I'm sure you all know, fishing organizations usually get paid or get some kind of compensation from a resort or something to be able to do it. And we didn't have that going into this year for LBAA. We had a little bit of help from one of our cities, and one of our owners, Craig LaPointe, owns the resort, so we had help there. Yep. I was able to negotiate some room stuff for Table Rock, and other than that, like, we're going to Gunnersville on our own dime, and it's probably gonna be $4 or $5 grand. So when it's all said and done, but and then I got to be able to pay my help. So unfortunately, Steve's retired and he needs money to survive.
Oh yeah.
So, and Abby's not cheap either, but she does really good work, and I wouldn't do it without her. So I love writing that check, that's for sure, because a female helping grow this female side of the sport is amazing to me.
And she's really talented. You got a really talented artist there.
Yep. I wish I could afford her at everything, but she's also on the road with MPFL, so I can't steal her from all of her obligations.
Yep. And we do have Clutch swim baits coming on our podcast later on.
Yep. Josh,
yes.
I don't want to take any credit for him starting his company, but we were fishing a Joe Bass, and he was throwing a store-bought brand, like a Storm Arashi, and I was throwing one of the custom guys at KGB, and we just got into this swim bait talk and about the difference of the actions, and next thing you know, I was like, Josh, you might just have the right mindset to make a better swim bait. And it wasn't 6 weeks to 8 weeks later, he had me a prototype in my hand, and I was like, it's close. And then a couple weeks later, he had me another prototype in my hand, and I was like, you need to go to market and quit your job. He goes, what? It took him about a year to get him to quit his job, but I can guarantee you it wasn't bad advice that I give him. So
yeah, I run a team at East Tennessee Fishing Show, and every time I buy his booth, it was lined up. I mean, it was amazing. He sold a lot at the Knoxville show.
He didn't just design like a regular glide bait like everybody else. He's got so much mind into it, and sink rates and how to mess with the material, like the darter. I mean, can't go into how it's actually built. He's done a few videos on how it's built, but there's a lamination process there that nobody thought about to make a bait that's, thinner than I use a child's belt because I got my son's baseball belt right here. I mean, that darter is about that tall, and that thing is perfectly balanced. And I don't know if you've thrown it. I don't know if you've thrown it yet, but if you got a smallmouth where you live, you better buy one.
And the finishes on there is just unreal. He does a really good job on finishes on it.
And that's one he actually will say that's his biggest weakness is his painting skills, but he's getting better every day. I got some of his original work, and you'd be like, holy smokes, he's came a long way. But I'm not going to give away the lake that this person was on today, because there's a big tournament coming up this weekend, and there's some people probably watching this that are from our area. But there's some 25 to 30 pound sacks caught on a very big lake today and yesterday that it's all coming on clutch baits. I won't give away too much information.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about there? Travis?
Not really. I mean, just I want to thank you guys for giving the ladies a platform, because when we reached out earlier this year to just you were going to put me on the show, and we picked this date as one of the dates like 6 months ago.
Yep.
And we just kind of started talking on the background about what you guys were trying to accomplish, and it seemed like you guys weren't 100% money motivated, like I'm not 100% money motivated, and you want to go to the sport and talk about the sport, and that's the kind of people that I wanted to do work with, because everybody else wants to make a buck, and yes, it's nice to make $1, but at the same time, if you put out a good product and you actually care about the organization, the money will come someday.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So thanks for all you guys are doing. Thanks for everything. I mean, you guys are giving random Joes and Janes a place that might have their first tournament cash, their first tournament win. They might not have ever fished a tournament, and they just have a passion for fishing, and they just go fun fishing. You're giving them all a platform, which is perfect.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We enjoy fishing, talking fishing, and going from there. And I appreciate you reaching out to us and having us, talking about the women fishing, because
Absolutely.
I don't think there's too many other podcasts, if there are any, that have a dedicated women's podcast.
You all doing this will help change the sport 100%.
Yeah.
Will your channel be the biggest one when that happens? Maybe, hopefully. But you'll change the sport. I mean, there's already been a few other podcasts out there jumping on board. I know Cindy Adler was just on one. The guy doesn't specialize in, only bass fishing or anything like that. But you're going to see a trend. You start doing stuff like this, people become trendsetters, and they always say being copied is one of the best forms of flattery. At first you're a little pissed, but once you realize they're copying you or something that you've done, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's growing the sport. So hey, we can't complain about that.
I said that about the World Fishing Tour format, doing the 1 in 5 advanced deal to kind of like a main event championship day. Somebody said, "Why didn't you patent that theory?" I said, "Well, first of all, I don't know if that's a patentable deal, because that's a format. May or may not. I don't study patent law, but even if it was, I wouldn't do it, because I want to be able to fish the same concept. I would love for Bass or MLF or somebody to try to run with the theory that I create, kind of brought to fishing, because
absolutely.
If 200 boats showed up on day one of qualifying, and what would that be, 40 boats advanced, and then they did that for a week long, you'd have a $300 tournament paying 150, 200 grand easy. So
absolutely.
I might not be the one that gets it done. Hopefully I am, but same thing with you guys. You guys might grow up to be the biggest podcast because you actually cared about the sport, and you might not.
Yes.
But it grows the sport regardless.
That's true.
And we like I said, we appreciate you, everything you're doing for the sport, and good luck on the rest of your endeavors. And if you ever need any help, let us. We're here for you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we get to see you down at Gunnersville, Rob.
Man, I hope so, man. Look forward to it.
Yep. Maybe someday soon we can get up by your neck of the woods too, John.
Oh, that'd be great.
How far away would you travel?
It depends.
Okay.
I know Rob and I were talking about fishing a tournament, because we've never met in person either. Rob and I.
As long as you know each other. That's funny.
And we talked about going to fish tournaments together, and that way we can finally meet.
Yep. In person.
Let's make that happen. We'll pick a World Fishing Tour date, and I'll buy you guys in. You guys come and fish it.
You got it.
Sounds good. All right.
All right, man. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot for having us on again.
All right, thanks, Travis. Have a good one, buddy.
We'll see you.
All right.
Bye. Always a pleasure to have Travis on. He has more energy than I think both of us did combined.
Oh yeah, it's a great concept, man. He's great ideas, great concepts. So look forward to what the future holds for WFT and LBAA. He's got some good plans, good concepts, and I think he's got a good footing this year, and just going to go up.
Yeah. And anything, like I said, anything we can do to help him out, help the ladies out, just let us know.
Absolutely.
All right. You have anything else you want to say, sir?
No, if anybody's fishing the BFL volunteer division down Watts Bar, I'll be down there. Hopefully, I'll be on the weigh-in stage. So look me up, say hi, shake my hand, and hopefully I catch a fish or two, luckily, Lord willing. So, but y'all get out there, wet line this weekend, and hope everybody has a good week, and come back Monday, and we'll have a good guest on, and we appreciate y'all.
Monday's guest is Fish Hers, by the way.
Awesome.
So, all right, everybody have a good weekend. Take care, and hope to see you Monday.
Peace out.